All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's video is on ICOs and basically why you should care about ICOs. This video is not going to be perfect, but it is going to be awesome. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And as always, this video is not financial advice, so do your own research, make your own decisions on anything you do, consult your financial advisors, and so on and so forth. This is just me trying to share the love and knowledge. And really the frame of this video is I have a lot of friends and family who are in this space right now, and they're basically asking me, Tommy, what should I do? What should I focus on? And what I'm seeing in the space is something kind of like the dot-com bubble of our generation or of this era. It's this ICO boom, and it is absolutely insane. So that's what I'm going to share with you. Basically, I'm going to talk about, first of all, why you guys should care, and then how you guys should research it. So let's just jump right into it. So first of all, why should you care about ICOs? ICOs are the fastest growing realm of cryptocurrencies, of which cryptocurrencies themselves are probably the fastest growing asset class in the world. So I'm going to show you guys a couple examples. So here's Aeon, which is a great project. I like them. They had their ICO a few months ago. It was around 50 cents to $1 for their ICO. In that time, they've grown to $8, but actually they also did a TRS where your tokens multiply by 4 essentially. So realistically, they're up about 50 times or so over the course of, you can see here the chart. This is October 23rd. I would say just right about 3 months, maybe 4 months or so, up about 50 times. Okay, let's move on to another example. Here's Icon, another great project and smart contract platform. And these are projects that I think are going to be competitive going forward for years to come. They both, so far, these two have very strong teams. Icon their ICO was about 13 cents, I believe. And right now, there's been a bit of a market crash. So it's around $10, but it hit as high as over $12, I believe. That's almost 100 times gain. And again, let's look at the time frame. Here's October 30th. Again, today is January 10th. November, December, January. About 3 months, 3 or 4 months since their ICO. And again, 100 times gain, you guys. $10,000 becoming like $1 million. Insane. And here's Dragon Chain. And I want to say to you guys, this isn't like a hype video or something. This is just a reality of what's going on. And the examples I'm giving you are not the only ones going on. I'm just giving you guys some examples. There are literally dozens of examples I can show that reflect something like this. Maybe not to this degree either, but just large returns over many ICOs that you're not going to see over just regular cryptocurrencies like Ethereum. I love Ethereum, but Ethereum is going to grow slower and steadier, not like this. Here's Dragon Chain. This was an ICO that anyone could have got into, and I believe it was around 8 cents or so where they started, and right when it traded, it was already up, and now it's about $4 to $5 roughly. Again, that's roughly a 60 or 70 times gain, and this is over the course of, again, just a few months. So the market itself hasn't increased that much over a few months. The market itself is only up, 2-3 times or something. But in this time frame, the ICOs are up 50 times or 100 times. And then one more example we have here is Lambden. Lambden was under the radar for most people, myself included, and it was around 10 cents around the time of the ICO, and this was just a week ago. And their ICO was a type that you didn't have to wait for the tokens. These other ones, for the actually Dragon Chain, you didn't really either. But for most ICOs, you're going to be waiting a little while for them to release the tokens, maybe a month or two. But Lambden, you did not. It was your tokens are received immediately through the smart contract, and it's only been about a week. And a week, it's already up like 10 times. In this time, the market hasn't really gone up that much. So maybe 30% or something like that. So hopefully you guys are getting the idea of ICOs. This is why you should care. If you want to be in the fastest growing space, it's going to be ICOs. Again, this kind of reminds me of the dot-com bubble, where I've heard anything with with an ending in .com, people were just throwing money at, and the same thing's happening here. So you really want to be prudent to pay attention for long-term projects if you want to invest long-term, or if you want to invest short-term and go for a flip, that's potential too. So just be conscious of that. Yeah, let's move on here to how to do some value propositions. Hide this. Okay, so the next thing is, now that you guys have an idea of, I'm not sure, talk about that in a minute. So now that we have an idea of why you should care about ICOs, next is how do we research ICOs? And you guys, I apologize, this video is a little more casual than normal, but again, this video is really kind of directed toward my friends and family. I want to get you guys understanding the value of this. So here's Ian Bellina. Ian Bellina is a really sharp guy, came on the scene and has been doing ICOs essentially right since he came in, and he's been doing a really good job, and he's done some good analysis and really developed a pretty good system for digging up ICOs. There's other people too, but one thing you should do is go to his website, ianbellina.com, click on his Get My Free ICO Spreadsheet. It's not working for me, but it's going to give a pop-up. Oh, here we go. Access my free spreadsheet. And then you could just sign up here. And when you do that, it's going to give you access to his spreadsheet. And his spreadsheet is one good resource to get an idea of what he's thinking are good ICOs. And he's done a really good job laying this out here. Props to you, Ian. You're kicking butt at this. I think you were one of the first people doing this. Here's his ranking of ICOs, and he's got some great pages here. You can see how he's rating different ICOs and his kind of criteria for rating them. And then he also shows you the investments he made, any ICOs he passed on, why he passed on them. So this is a great resource, you guys. It's going to give you an idea of what are some potentially good ICOs. And you can see his track record too, because he's got his investments here, and you can see how they've done his ICO price, the current price. The green ones are the ones he invested in. So awesome work with that, Ian. Another good source here is the Gob1, and they actually have a Discord channel, which doesn't hurt to check out. The Gob1, you can probably just Google that, it'll pop up. And here's their spreadsheet too. I'll put a link to this below, and the spreadsheet is another good source. You guys are going to see how ICOs are being reviewed here. And he actually has some other good resources too. Is there a USA ban? Because not all ICOs are available for US investors. Is there KYC? Do you have to give your information? Is there a whitelist procedure? What are the pre-sale dates? So ICOs have a pre-sale and then often an ICO, which he calls a crowd sale here. This is the time frame for the pre-sale, but you have to get in this time frame. Sometimes it's competitive. Sometimes you have to get in really early on, or sometimes not. And then there's the crowd sale, but keep in mind, sometimes they sell out during the pre-sale. And then he talks about here the type of product it is, the stage it's developed, which is a cool thing, and some other information. People also give their feeling on where they think it's going to go. Is the rocket going to land in the ocean or next door, or is it going to go to orbit or the moon, which would be ideal? And so you can kind of get an idea of what he thinks. And you can kind of compare these ICOs, what his ratings are, to Ian's. And I think it's always good to leverage information. And that's where we're starting to go in the space. Here's another sheet that I'll link. This is pretty cool, which you can follow this guy at on Telegram at Top 7 ICO. And he's ranking different top 7 ICOs for different people. Here's the Gob1. Here's Ian. There's also Crypto Moon. There's his Crush Crypto, who does good ICO reviews. Oh Hey Maddie, which I'll show you in a minute too. Sergio and Lendex. So this is pretty cool. You can kind of compare everyone's top 7 to each other. Again, another great resource, which I'll put below. So there's another resource to kind of get an idea of which are the top ICOs. And then here's Oh Hey Maddie, and he also is on YouTube and reviews various ICOs, and you can see what his thoughts are on different ICOs here. And he's got a whole bunch of different columns. Here's his top 5, his complete project review sheet, past project review sheet. Okay, it's lagging. Yeah, you get the idea, you guys. What am I doing here? I am comparing different sources for ICO reviews. This is really a great way, especially for any newcomer or someone who doesn't have a lot of time to get an idea of what ICOs are good. And here's another source here too, the CIRB Master Mention ICO. And then again, this just gives you different review sources and what they thought of different ICOs. And again, a good rating system. So I'll put links to all these below in the description. So what we're doing here again so far is now we're identifying what are probably good ICOs, which ones are probably going to have a good return on investment. And again, it's not investment advice. Do it at your own risk. It can be affected by a lot of things like the market or some freak thing. I mean, who knows? But this gives you a pretty good idea of what are some good ICOs. And after you look at all these, then you should do your due diligence. Jump on the website of the actual ICO. Go look at the website. Look at the team. Look at the idea. Make sure it makes sense to you and that you like it, and decide if you feel that this is a good long-term investment or if you feel like it's a good short-term investment, or if you feel like you shouldn't get involved at all. A couple more ways to compare and look at them. Crush Crypto is, again, she does great reviews on ICOs. I really like her stuff, so check her out on YouTube. Often like to see if she's done a review of an ICO, so check out her channel. She does some pretty cool ICO reviews. Crypto Portfolio has been doing ICO reviews for a while now. Again, like this guy, gives good insight. And then Ian Bellina also has a YouTube channel. And by the way, you guys, I'm giving you guys all these names out of my own accord. These are all places that I like to go. And Ian does a good job. You guys should definitely watch some of Ian's videos. He does live streams, and I know in some of these videos, he shows you how he's going through and researching ICOs. Like here's a live stream. So this is also great to see how he reviews ICOs, get an idea of how you should review it. Getting into ICOs is a little more time intensive than before, you guys. Back in the day, I've been in the space for over 4 years, and it's so funny. In times the space was quiet. You could just make an investment and you could just then go on Reddit and hang out for months at a time. It's not like that anymore, you guys. The space is moving fast, and there's opportunities to be had. And if you get into it, if you take advantage of these opportunities, they can potentially really elevate your life. I think it's well worthwhile. Again, this is directed toward my friends and family. This is the fastest growing area in the space. There are many people that I've heard of who started out with, small amounts, $10,000 or $20,000 just within this year, and have portfolios over $1 million. And that's crazy because the space has never grown this fast before. There were some time periods where Bitcoin and Ethereum grew, but I think the opportunities today outweigh anything that's existed in the crypto space before. So I encourage you guys to look into this. This can really improve your life. Again, it's take your own risks. The market is hot right now. It's a little elevated, but I feel strongly there are opportunities there, and there will be a lot more projects to come in the future. Okay, so another thing, let's say I found an ICO I like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump here and I'm going to Google that ICO. That ICO reviews some interesting results. So that ICO review, right? And so that's going to give me a bunch of different reviews for that ICO. So I get an idea. So let's say, for instance, I want to review Apex. So I'll Google or YouTube Apex ICO review, and that'll give me an idea of what people are thinking of Apex. And I made a video too. If you Google, I don't think this is actually the one.
Important things to pay.
There you go. So the powerful potential and risks of ICOs, along with a research guide. So this will also kind of give you an idea of how to walk through and how to review ICOs to make sure they're legitimate. So check out this video too. That will be in the link below. So, okay, let's recap here. So we've now gone over why you should care about ICOs. We've talked about how you can get an idea of what other strong researchers are thinking, how to research them, and then other basics you need to know to get involved in this is how to buy into ICOs, which you guys need to be proficient with my Ether wallet, which I made a very popular video on that if you Google or just YouTube search my Ether wallet. Here I am. Let me get me back to number one, you guys. My Ether wallet, I made this video 9 months ago, over 200,000 views. This is a short, fast tutorial that shows you how to use my Ether wallet, but you guys need to know how to use this. Most ICOs are done with Ether, some are done with Neo, but I'd say still 90% of them are done with Ethereum, So essentially, for most ICOs, they'll have an address that you send the Ethereum to, and then by doing so, you'll get the ICO tokens sent back to you. Now, again, a lot of ICOs, you have to register or join a whitelist, so you may need to do that, obviously, beforehand. Some things to be aware of. Please make sure to use my Ether wallet offline whenever you use it, because there's more scams in the space now than ever. There's a lot of websites that spoof myetherwallet.com. Maybe one letter's different, or maybe it could even be that they managed to hijack the domain that day, which is what happened with Ether Delta, and that was an enormous hack that happened. So you really want to make sure you're using it locally from your computer, which is basically you're downloading the program and using it locally. So that way, if the domain is hijacked, you're not going through the domain. Okay, and the next thing is, when you guys are sending your funds to an ICO, make sure it's an ICO address that has a lot going on. So you can do that by going to etherscan.io. I guess I'm on the 404 page here, but you can just search the address here, the ICO address where they want you to send it to, and you should see a bunch of transactions. It will tell you how many transactions are occurring. But basically what happens is sometimes scammers or thieves will mimic representatives of different ICOs. They'll use the same profile picture and they'll give you a false address. Or right before the time is to send the ICO, they're going to spam the channel and say, send it here, send it here. These are scams. So you guys need to be a bit careful with that. So it's really prudent. You want to be really careful and make sure that address you're sending it to is getting, thousands of addresses. You'll see a whole page pending with ICOs. You can put it in the message in the community, be like, can you guys confirm this is the right address, and make sure numerous people are confirming that's the right address to make sure that you avoid any scams. So anyway, you guys, these are some basics. For anyone new to this space, you have a little catching up to do. So, I imagine all my listeners here aren't new. In fact, a lot of you guys have been around for a while, and many of you guys are just, casually investing. And while that is, that's great too, the bulk of the money is being made in ICOs right now. And so that's what I wanted to make you guys aware of. And that was the whole purpose of the video. So, I may do another video in the future, following up with more tips. Check in the description if I put it there yet, if I do make that, also for the links. And like the video if you like it, share it with your friends if you feel like it would help them out. And I wish you guys the best, and I'll see you on the next one.